Hi everyone, Sailor Saturn here, Sailor Ringrill Tataru here, and today we're going to talk about, you know, why some folks make a big deal about the things that Deke skimmed out. Because in the Sailor Moon followership, which yes, I belong to, there are going to be those who are irked over things that either Deke shifted or skimmed it out, and how they thought that took away from the saga telling, or that took away from the show, or that made the show unwatchable in their eyes. Now, first off, these are beliefs or thoughts over it. Yes, Deke did do they did shift a lot of things. Yes, they did shift names. They did shift near names. They did cut out some fighting. They did cut out some blood when sometimes, and sometimes what was being said was shifted from what was being said. But at the end of the day, I don't think that made it unwatchable, and it didn't take away from the saga telling. A lot of folks believe it does. Now, there are times in Sailor Moon where Serena is getting slapped, not, and Deke would clean the slapping out when it happened. There are times in Sailor Moon where, believe it or not, her mother would do a lot more mean things to her, and Deke would come up with a way to clean that out. Folks thought that took away from the saga telling they believed it. They also believed that any of the fighting that was going on that had been cleaned away took away from the saga telling. They believe this. There's no truth to back it up, but that's what they believe. They also believe that the names being shifted, or the borrowed names being shifted out for other borrowed names, somehow took away from it. Because in their mind, they think that made it, they think that was wrong, or they just think it takes away from the watching, and it does not. They also think that near names, and not really too many near names come up in the Deke Sailor Moon. But when they do come up, they do tend to be shifted, and somehow folks think that took away from whatever the saga telling was. They also, that's what they believe. Now, they believe that also, and the grounds that why they also believe that what was two halves becoming one half. They also believe that two sagas becoming one saga, somehow that took away from the show, made it unwatchable, whatever their beliefs are. A lot of them don't like the songs. A lot of them don't like, really anything with it. And they believe that it was a bad show, that it's unwatchable in their eyes, and a lot of them, are happy they got Viz now, so they can just, stop bitching about the Deke Sailor Moon, but they cannot. They still got to bitch about it. A lot of these folks who hate or unlike the Deke Sailor Moon grew up with it. And even if they didn't grow up with it, that was the only one they had for a long time. See, my belief is that names being shifted, or near names being shifted, slapping being skimmed out, or other fighting being skimmed out, or blood sometimes being skimmed out. Let's talk about the things that Deke did keep in. They like to talk about all the things they took out, but let's talk about some of the shit that Deke did keep in that you thought would have been, taken out. When Serena first meets Luna, 3 boys are beating Luna, laughing at her and bullying her, and putting a Band-Aid or whatever, or a, or a healing tape over her forehead. And believe it or not, Deke did not cut that out. That was in there. What else did Deke keep in? Yeah, Nephrite's death. Yeah, Nephrite's death was kept in there. They didn't skim it or cut it out in any way. So yeah, Nephrite dying or being slain did not, get skimmed it or shifted. They would have you believe that everything was cut out of it. Oh, let's not forget about a dog pissing on Emerald's foot at the end of, in Following 2. And a lot of folks thought that would have been cut or skimmed or cleaned in some way. And no, it was not. So there were things that Deke kept in. And all you folks can worry about is what Deke cut out, And let's truly be earnest about some other things that they did keep in, So, yeah, those are things right there that Deke did not clean out of Sailor Moon, which you believe they would clean out of Sailor Moon. And as far as, names go, yeah, I don't really think a lot of folks know a lot of Daunish names. The English speech didn't really borrow a lot of names from Daunish. I'm sorry. Sorry that not everyone in the world, know those names, or sorry that those names weren't the names that we got. Yeah, and names being shifted, borrowed names being shifted out for other borrowed names. The names that Deke chose were names that English borrowed more from. English borrowed names from more speeches than Daunish, so I'm sorry if you don't like the names, why should I say I'm sorry? And as far as near names go, yeah, Crossroads or Round Street, which was the name of the gore or borough or township, town or stead in Deke Sailor Moon. Sorry if that pissed you off that they shifted the name. Whatever. Why am I sorry about this? And then making a big deal about, driving on the right side of the street instead of the left, like Deke did that. Hey, so did Pioneer had to do that as well. And then we come to the big tussler in the room about Malachite and Zoisite having their kinship shifted. Yeah, Zoisite in the Deke Sailor Moon is a woman. I know that irks you and pisses you off, but it is what it is, And I made many films giving my thoughts to why this was done. And if you think only Deke did it, think again. Pioneer had to do it. Not only with Amara Michelle, but also with Fisheye. And you folks thought that only Deke had to skim or clean things. But there were a lot, but at the end of the day, Deke Sailor Moon isn't for everyone. Not everyone likes it, and that's true, and that's all right. But I do like it. And every time I watch it, I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. And all the things that you folks either bitch or rant or scave over, about it, they don't irk me. And you can say that, oh, I'm not a true Sailor Moon follower if I like the Deke Sailor Moon or Pioneer Sailor Moon or whatever. Well, that's your belief right there. And as far as Deke, skipping some followings of the first following in one of the two diff, your guess is good as mine why they did that. Some maybe had to do to Malvin pulling up Patricia Haruna's skirt, showing her underwear, or maybe it was, I don't know, or maybe it was when Samuel was brainwashed by one of the strokes that one of the bunny-like beings that the Dark Kingdom was selling at the time, and then kicks Luna. Yeah, I could see why that would be skimmed out. But as far as being skipped altogether, yeah, and the one where Serena goes to a nightclub, yeah, I could see why Deke chose to skim those all things out. And as far as Deke could have kept those in there and then cut some of those things out if need be. Yeah, true. They could have had if they wanted to, but they chose to skip those, and I don't know why. But at the end of the day, the Deke Sailor Moon is still watchable in my eyes. I'll see you all later.